civil rights union, both sued for civil rights violations on the Stowers family. And unfortunately, the court sided with the government. And that's been happening again and again, too. So I think the only answer to this is that the people really have to band together, and we have to really educate ourselves on this issue and band together to, elect officials that understand this issue, that understand that the government's been barking up the wrong tree, and elect officials that care about our civil rights.
Well, it's the right tree, though, if they work for foreign corporations that are engaged in a total militarized takeover of the economy. And that's what this is. That's what Agenda 21 is. That's why I think your film, Farmageddon, dovetails well with Behind the Green Mask, you and Agenda 21, Key Weapons in the Info War, both available at Infowars.com. The toll-free number to join us normally is 800-259-9231, but those phones are loaded our guest being on with us, the director of Farmageddon. So I've opened up our phone system right here in my studio for people that have been victims of the federal government out of their jurisdiction, even harassing people with 5 chickens. Oh, these are open range, totally healthy? Well, let us harass you. Again, big pharma, big agri, same group, openly financing the shutdown of family farms and other sustainable operations, all part of Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is about shutting down the economy under the guise of environmentalism. Nothing to do with the environment. It's a power grab. So the toll-free number to join us is 877-789-2539. 877-789-2539. I know there's a lot to add here, Kristin, but anything else you'd like to point out before we go to phone calls pertaining to Farmageddon, the unseen war on America's family farms?
No, I really appreciate you helping to spread this message. This whole journey started with me. I used to be the one that wanted to bleach everything and sterilize everything, and we got sick. And so I'm lucky that I found these foods. It was actually raw milk that ended up healing my son of allergies. He was very, very sick with allergies and asthma. And so I started to eat this way and saw the government trying to shut it down. And I appreciate people like you trying to spread the word about this.
Well, that's another big point you made. I have a big scientific study out today on autism where they break down, in a major journal, long-term study, what other scientists have already told us, that what they're doing is going in and growing crops on dead soil that's then full of heavy metals because of the toxic fertilizer they're using. That's bioaccumulating. Then we don't have regular minerals in us that also take out the impurities. So it's a double whammy and autism's exploding.
Right. I was really lucky. Unfortunately, I didn't know about this before I had kids, but soon after I had kids, because they got sick, I found the Weston Price Foundation, and that taught me a lot about nutrient-dense foods and seeking out nutrient-dense foods. And so I did that for 10 years until I found out that the government was really cracking down on farmers that were growing nutrient-dense foods.
And again, these are not secrets. It's known by handfuls of people. We've got to get the word out to folks. I mean, it's look, sure, I'm product placing right here because I believe in it and it funds our operation. But take Beyond Tangy Tangerine, complete multivitamin mineral complex. This has got a giant ORAC score per serving of 5,745. And the minute I started taking this, and I still need to lose more weight, but I lost 40 pounds, Aaron Dykes, over 90. And when I saw that, that's when I finally started taking it. And, of course, now I promote it and sell it at a discount at InfoWarsTeam.com. And, but you know, my point is that people need to discover growing food or buying food grown on real soil organically, magic effect. Taking powerful natural mineral vitamin supplements at levels way over what the government says you need. Amazing effect. And Big Pharma knows this. They want us sick so that they can come burn and cut and work on us. Spend a little bit more time how you discovered all this and what it did for your family.
I was so lucky I discovered it. Basically, my doctor told me that my son was allergic to the world, which was grass, dust, bees, every kind of pollen. So inside and outside, the entire environment. He was just coughing and sneezing and screaming all night that he couldn't breathe. And he had an inhaler. And the doctors kept giving me stronger and stronger medications. And they just weren't working. That's how I had to find an alternative. And so finally, one of the doctors said that his immune system was so severely depressed that he would be on these strong medications the rest of his life. He probably wouldn't grow. He could never get near animals. He could never be out. It would be hard for him to be outside. And a naturopath doctor, luckily, told me to take him off all the drugs and find alternatives. And I kept researching and researching on the internet until finally I found enough compelling stories that raw milk could be a cure for allergies. And at the time, I was scared to death. I thought it was disgusting to even think about raw milk, but I ventured out and met my farmer and asked a lot of questions and drank a lot of it myself to make sure I didn't die before I gave it to my 4-year-old son. And I loved it, and I gave it to him. And he is 16 now. He doesn't have any allergies. He's an athlete. He's 6 feet tall. He plays hockey, plays sports outside, inside. We have animals. And so it works. Real food really can work.
Wow, imagine real food's what we need, not McDonald's food that doesn't decompose.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I've known this for a long time, but just was so set in a quasi-healthy, quasi-unhealthy that I never really started taking the plunge, and I've just begun. And it's like, this is so powerful, this information, and that's what the eugenicists are desperate for us to discover. They're building a false environment to enslave us with sickness. They're scared we're getting off the reservation, and they're sending the Rural Council Agenda 21 after us. And the answer is to proliferate the swap meets and the farms and the gardens even faster, where they cannot stop us. You want to defeat the New World Order, folks? Educate people, speak out, but also just start living better and start educating others and creating communities. This will bring them down. Let's go ahead and talk to CJ in Michigan. You're on the air with the director and creator of Farmageddon. Go ahead, CJ. Good to talk to you. You're on air with us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm an urban farmer here in Michigan. You know, got the garden in the front yard. Haven't had any problems with that. Last year, got a goat, and I mean, it was like like I had killed somebody. So I got the summons. You know, I got the notice to get rid of it. Fines coming, or jails coming, this and that. So I'm doing all kinds of research, trying to find laws, Michigan Right to Farm Act, getting obstacles after obstacles. But bottom line is, this is my life. This is my family's future. You know, we have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By
the way, my grandfather worked in the oil fields. He brought a little goat home that was orphaned. Its mother had been run over, and it grew, and they kept it for a long time, and then, you know, years later gave it to a farmer, but it would jump up on the mantle and stuff. They love that goat. I mean, goats, a single one, you don't want a bunch of them, they'll eat your yard. I mean, those are pretty nice little pets, and they're saying you can't have this evil goat, but I guess they're glad Michigan's collapsing, though. I guess that's fun, though.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it's a fun. There's a different. Okay, me and you agree that the right to travel is there, but they call it a privilege. But who can say that life? Okay, it can be argued that you can be born and not ever step into a car and you'll still live. But you need water, you need food, and you need shelter. How can they restrict a fundamental right?
No, I hear you. So what's happening with the goat?
Well, I had to get rid of the goat because I just don't have the time to fight it. But it's coming to the point where I got bees coming tomorrow. I'm just gonna take the fine. I'm gonna not pay it, and I'm just.
Oh no, they don't want bees. The bees all have to die. You can't have those. I appreciate your call. What an evil caller. While the honeybees are collapsing, they're begging you to keep them, but then when you do, they come after you. This is terrible that he would do such a thing. What do you say to that, Kristin?
like I said, I've seen this over and over again. It's happening everywhere. But luckily, I mean, the hope that I have is that it's happening so much, and it's just getting so over the top right now, and so many people are seeing it that people are starting to wake up. So that's what I'm hoping, that people will see the film, that people will start, waking up, that people will start banding together. And, I'm really sorry to that farmer that he doesn't have time to fight it. It takes so much time to fight this. But if we can find groups of people to fight it together and form groups and go to the legislators and try to fight it together, we'd have a better chance.
Absolutely. I'm taking the next step towards getting the chickens and doing everything else just because I need to be prepared, but also because it hurts the New World Order. And whatever I cannot buy from their big mega devil stores, whatever I can do to pull myself out, I'm planting grapevines, I'm doing all sorts of other stuff, blackberries, whatever I can do to not be part of their big sick system. Going to farmers market, buying from locals, buying local raw milk. Had some this morning. Buying local farmers' eggs. I'm pulling out of your system. Starting to buy local farmers' beef. I'm pulling out of your system. I'm pulling out of your system. I'm pulling out of your dirtbag system. Let's go ahead and talk to David in New Jersey. You're on the air with the director of the film. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Hi, Kristin. How are you today?
Good. Go ahead.
Good. Real quick, the right to farm ordinance is something you need to look at from a community level. Here in New Jersey, in my township, we have the right to farm, regardless of the size of parcel of land. I have apple trees in my front yard, chickens going in the back, goats. This is a sort of that most people need to group up together in a community and pass. The right to farm ordinance is something that you need to look at. The state of New Jersey has adopted to the Department of Agriculture here also the right to farm ordinances at the community level. So people need to rally together to get this happening at the local level. And when local people rally together, trust me, the feds have a very difficult time trying to do anything about it.
Well, once you've had real milk, you don't go back. Again, I've studied it. You go back to the 30s and 40s, big pharma, big agri, same group, convinced everybody that raw milk wasn't as good, and you want the new pasteurized stuff just so they could ship it further, have dirty milk with feces and blood, overwork the cows. Then they started passing ordinances that it had to be from certain groups, certain companies. And then over time, they just phased it out to where now the counterfeit that is just like liquid artery sludge is what people think milk is versus real milk. And so as people segue from the GMO, deadly milk that gives you cancer with the growth hormone in it, to then, oh, okay, we're organic, we're not, we don't have GMO, to, no, now I want the real thing. Once you get real milk, you're like, how did I ever drink this sludge?
Exactly. Real quick, if you're interested, you can go to Pittsgrove Township, is the township I'm calling from, and you could actually put right to farm. You could Google it, right to farm, Pittsgrove, New Jersey, and it's a great model ordinance. It was adopted. It is law. It's a law of the land here. Take a look at it. I think it's something that you could bring to various councils or township meetings and try to introduce.
Well, God bless you, sir. Great points. Human instinct is powerful, and despite all the brainwashing and dumbing down, people are buying 5 million guns a month, total all-time record. They're buying seeds, they're planting, everybody. It's like after 9/11, there was a baby boom for a year. In fact, that was when my wife and I conceived our first child. Humans don't have to be told, an archetypal, you just saw a bunch of people killed, have kids. The way the system sold that was, we just lost half of America. It wasn't, but the way they sold it was, we're under attack. Boom, all these kids. It's the same thing. Now we really are under attack. Subtly, the media's not telling us, but everybody's buying guns. Everybody's starting, everybody. And so that's because the human instinct is very, very powerful. Kristin, your comments on that?
Yep. No, I agree with that. And I'm happy that the farmer brought up the right to farm ordinances. And the other thing that's happening around the country, too, which is very positive, is that townships are starting the food sovereignty laws. They're passing laws trying to keep the state and federal governments out of their farming system. So anything grown in their counties or towns can be sold, traded, swapped, co-opted, within that county.